So I finally watched that van life segment from Real Time with Bill Maher everyone's been sending us.
The whole point of van life is to film your travels and put them on YouTube. You're not a hobo, you're a content provider.
Bill Maher, a sexist, racist comedian who somehow has a political discussion show on HBO, even though he's hated by liberals and conservatives alike, finished his show off on October 1st with a rant about travel vloggers and van lifers, who he says don't work for a living.
Let other people work stupid jobs like nurse or teacher. You figured out a way to monetize off. Yeah, you and everybody else in your generation.
Who he says skipped the hard part of life where you build skills and work jobs you don't like to build a career.
Well, someone has to break it to America's travel vloggers that the part of life where you're retired and joyride around the country, that's supposed to come after the working for a living part, not before.
I watched this thing at the worst time, in the middle of an 80-hour week creating and editing videos for a major client. And because I put all that aside because I felt really compelled to respond to this incredible irony of a lifelong comedian calling content creation not a real job. But also, I just wanted to share a bit about what being a content creator is like, because I think a lot of people think it's pointing a camera at yourself for a few minutes a day and pressing upload. This is a typical day for us. Abby gets up around 6 a.m. and writes a couple articles, handles publishing newsletters and scheduling social media posts, and organizes tasks for our freelancers. I get up around 9 and begin whatever the day's task is for me, usually writing a script or an outline for a video or a podcast. We take time in the middle of the day for homeschooling, sometimes getting out and adventuring, and then in the afternoon we film videos and record podcasts, and I'm usually up until 2 a.m. or later editing and uploading. That goes on for 6 days a week. Those big YouTubers you watch that put out maybe one video a week are still spending 20 hours or more editing a single video. And that doesn't include filming it and promoting it and all the other stuff. The vast majority of them also have other jobs, other companies they run. Trust me, YouTube itself is not a living for very many people. Now, in the last several weeks, Abby and I have been able to meet so many of our peers, fellow RV travel content creators, in person. Every single one of them works incredibly hard to build their business, craft content for their audience, which they all care deeply about, and fight to grow on these social media platforms that big tech companies have built with their own goals, which are different from ours. The marketing industry calls us influencers, and that's fine, but most of us aren't crazy about the term. It's a bit like calling yourself cool, but that's the term they use, so we're stuck with it. Content creator is a better way to say it though. We're here to serve our audience, not influence them. When my 2 full-time jobs in Chicago plus freelance work became too much, Abby and I built a business surrounding content creation. We built a niche news website for the Chicago performing arts industry. When the rent became too damn high, we bought a $3,000 school bus and built our own home out of it, spending every last penny we had and then some. Maybe it's not exactly the same way my World War II veteran 96-year-old grandfather built his own house for his family. But isn't that working for the American dream? Isn't that what every previous generation expects us to do? So, in an epic fit of punching down, Bill Maher uses his platform to use travel influencers, content creators, or van lifers as people like to narrow us down to when they're trying to make fun of millennials and Gen Z, as a stream of punchlines.
The supposedly media-savvy millennials and Gen Zers really do buy stuff just because some ding-dong holds it up on Instagram.
And he does it framing the conversation around the murder of 22-year-old content creator Gabby Petito, who was traveling in her van conversion through the West with her boyfriend, who's also now dead, but was most likely the murderer.
Everyone wants to know what went on in that van between Brian and Gabby. I want to know why filming van life is something anyone would find remotely interesting to begin with.
Shouldn't be a surprise, though. Bill Maher likes to use people's deaths to mock what they cared about. When Stan Lee, the creator of some of the most beloved superheroes and comic books of all time, died, he took the occasion to make fun of people who like comic books and talk about how people should stop treating them like they're literature and grow up, and how Marvel movies aren't real films. That's cool. You're welcome to your opinion, Bill. Don't use the occasion of someone's death to spew it. A woman gets tragically murdered, and this guy says, that's what's wrong with this generation. They're not willing to work. But don't be surprised. This is the guy whose response to 9/11 was to talk about the courage it takes to carry out a suicide attack. This is the guy who, when he was 22, the same age as Gabby Petito, was selling drugs to pay the bills so he could make it as a stand-up comedian. The double standard is palpable, Bill. You've only worked as a TV host and a comedian for 40 plus years. You're a content creator, Bill, with 11 million Twitter followers and a YouTube channel to boot. The only difference between my job and yours, Bill, is that I wrote what I'm reading off the teleprompter and you didn't. And mine doesn't say hold for laughter.
How long can we go on selling each other our life stories as the basis for an economy? It doesn't feel sustainable. You can't all be the Truman Show.
I'll also edit and promote my own content instead of going home at night to roll in my $140 million and wonder why there are literally 20,000 YouTube channels that have more subscribers than Maher has viewers in 1 week. I guarantee you, every RV travel content creator that you know and love and watch puts more of a workday in than Bill Maher. Most of us are doing more work than we ever did before. We're growing the American economy our own way. We're picking ourselves up by the bootstraps and making something of ourselves. And that includes the overly dramatic clickbait phony outrage content creators that I can't stand. Oh, am I underestimating the work you do, Bill? Am I ignoring the hard work it took to build a 40-plus year career in comedy? I know a lot of comedians. I know how much hard work it actually is. I know how it looks on the outside, like it's just a funny person getting on stage and talking about things for a bit and collecting a check.
I want my job to be I'm me, and people pay to watch that. What's the fallback career? Marijuana tester?
So Bill Maher, on Real Time with Bill Maher, where he talks about Bill Maher's opinions, is speaking out against those losers who want their job to be I'm me and people pay to watch that. I'm sorry to rant a bit, but this isn't just for Bill Maher. This is for a growing number of people who find people like us, who decide to live and travel a little differently, with a passion to share with others how they can do it too, lazy. Those who think we don't do work for a living. Those who think we should get a real job. The workplace is changing. The economy is changing. We're simply trying to scratch our own existence on this planet, just as you do. We're trying to take care of ourselves and our children and to build a better future for them, just like you. We're human, and we fail and make mistakes, and our mistakes are often public, and they burn. But, and Abby's not here next to me, but I guarantee she'd say the same thing, as would every other single travel content creator. We're here to serve our community. We're here to help you learn from our mistakes. We're here to hopefully entertain you a bit and inspire you to live your life in the way that you find ideal. I know that pessimistic, get a real job jerk is not most of you who watch our channel. You're a kind, supportive, grateful, helpful community that I'm so humbled by. You got me through 3 brain surgeries. You lift us up each and every day with your kind words, but most importantly, your passion for helping each other learn to travel in these wobbly boxes we call RVs. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for being you, and thank you for being here, and thank you for supporting us.